Well, we start off here. The National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structure has outlined the security plan for the upcoming elections. Newzroom Afrika's Veronica Makhoali is following that story for us and is joining us live from Pretoria. Veronica, once again, a very good morning. So we just heard earlier on from Lieutenant General Tebello Mosikili around the number of cases that have been reported so far and also 45 people that have been arrested. Tell us more about what they have to say and the plans are.
Well, essentially, Aldrin, what we're getting is a very confident NatJoints saying that they are ready ahead of these elections, not just on the election day, but prior and very much after the election period. We didn't really get an understanding of just some of the numbers of the deployment from, in terms of police officers and which sort of hotspot areas that we'll be looking at with the NatJoints, really speaking to the fact that they are not going to underestimate the resources or overestimate what needs to be done. And this is quite important, Aldrin, as you'd know that when we often indicate which are the hotspot areas across the country, we often see that crime carries on in other areas where criminals may think that these specific areas are somewhat loopholes for them. But just to give us a better understanding of not necessarily the numbers, as the committee remains very mum on that, but really just to understand the strength of the deployment and what South Africans can expect in regards to the safety and security on election day. Lieutenant General, thank you so much for your time on Newzroom Afrika. I think, honestly, just the confidence of the committee to carry out the election process on the 29th of May.
Veronica, thank you very much for the opportunity and greetings to the South Africans, those within the country and outside. I think this weekend is one of those exercises that we're undertaking outside the country, and there are no incidents. And I can assure you that with the plans that we have put in place, even here locally, elections are going to be a safe and secure environment for all persons. Hotspots areas, as you are reiterating, we do have areas that we are going to have more focus than the other, but not to divulge that information to say at this place, because we will be causing unnecessary panic. So we don't want people to think that this area is more volatile than the other. We do have those areas that we know will focus at. We know that Gauteng is one of our hotspot area in terms of crime reports that we are every day receiving. We know KwaZulu-Natal, we know Eastern Cape, we know Western Cape is one of those provinces. But I must say, even small provinces or so-called small provinces, we do see, sporadic incidents that we are going to be focusing on. And I said earlier that we're looking at everyday intelligence report that we receive. So we respond accordingly. We have put plans in place, we have put numbers in place. We also have put contingency numbers in case where we have deployed, we run short. We will then get into our contingency deployment groups or teams and we'll deploy them accordingly. So each and every corner of this country is going to be secured.
You spoke a bit about criminality, and we know that the major resources of the police will be focused on the elections. What about just the day-to-day crimes that we do experience in South Africa? How ready are we to ensure that no one takes advantage of where the focus will be on the day?
Every day we have Operation Chanela in this country. When we do the deployments of the elections, we have taken cognizance of the fact that other than the elections, there will still be policing. There will still be citizens that will endure challenges in as far as crime is concerned. So the day-to-day policing, the crime prevention plans are in place and are going to continue. People can still walk to the client service centers at the police stations. There will be deployment. So we have taken cognizance of the fact that during the election, there will still be a normal life. And we cannot leave any area or any gap in terms of us policing in South Africa.
Lieutenant General, I have to ask, of course, we remember and we still suffer from the remnants of the, July unrest in 2021. What can we say as NatJoints that we have learned? We do, of course, as a country, have experienced many peaceful, relatively peaceful elections, but knowing what can happen, just the confidence of the committee.
I think July 21 is one that experience and exercise that has taught us to stay alert. And as a result, any other event that happens subsequent to July, we responded to accordingly because we have learned our lessons. This time around, we have looked at those and we have planned accordingly. So any eventuality, as I've indicated earlier, we will mobilize all the possible resources, including our partners, to be able to augment the numbers that we're having. We have trained our officers. We have recruited 3 times now. I think the last group of 10,000 of the 3-year plan is at the colleges as we speak. So we have those that were relieved from their training, from the 2 intakes, and they are deployable. We have from those teams recruited 5,000 from the 30,000 that we're having for the public order policing. Young blood, train them, they are ready, and they will be deployed as well this time around.
Oh, thank you very much for your time. Well, there you have it, a bolstered South African Police Service ready to work in partnership with the South African National Defence Force. We heard from the Lieutenant General. This will happen if it is needed. Very confident, of course, in regards to their deployment, and not just in regards to monitoring voting stations, but also just securing electoral material, securing officials, really working with presiding officers at voting stations to look out for just some of those inaccuracies that we can see, but also, as you've heard, public order policing to maintain that peace and security that South Africans have for so long really enjoyed during the democratic process. And we're hoping that on the 29th of May, it will be no different, and really just hoping to see a strong police force in regards to this. Back to you.